Hey there, friend! I hope this finds you well. We've made it through September! And man, I feel like it's been its own kind of roller coaster of emotions and feelings for me. But I guess that's life. It just happens kind of all the time. When I was little, if I was at home and feeling angry or sad, sometimes happy, I'd go outside and, after making sure that I could see no one else, of course, I'd belt out all my feelings, making up lyrics and melodies as I went along, and maybe even throwing in a few movements and dance as well. As I get older, I did tend to realize that there was a potential for people in their houses to be able to see or hear me outside. So I did start to sing a little softer, and I go sit out underneath a tree instead of dancing all over my block. I've always been kind of an amateur singer, both in the sense of lack of professional vocal training. I never went to school for something like that, but also in the Latin root of that word, amo amasamare, meaning one who loves. And I'm proud of that. I know not the best in the world, but I have a pretty decent ear and people tend to enjoy it sometimes. And it usually brings comfort and joy to me. So even today I still I'll sing and hum to myself. So that training growing up was good. Getting out and not worrying about other people. And that experience I think has trained me well for crowds and group psychology even today. I travel a lot via public transit by myself here in the city where I live. So I've sung in parks and at train stations. I've done stretches and exercise or practiced speaking Albanian while waiting for a bus. And I've even had a good couple silent cries on the subway on my way home. When you're in a group setting, I'm just a stranger to them, and they don't really notice me very much. And if they do notice me, there's a slim chance they're going to do much about whatever I'm doing. And if they think that I'm weird, well, I already know that, so it's fine. And also, to be fair, I know that I do, similar things in group settings. I don't always want to talk to the stranger that I see. There can be a lot of, negative things about that kind of group psychology. But I feel like too on the flip side, when I'm just running around with everything that's going on in life, there's kind of just a freedom in knowing that I can be alone in this big crowd of people. I guess on the internet, there's its own kind of public sphere where everybody notices everyone and there's just so much information going on. So in one way you can hide in your own corner on the internet, kind of like what I feel like I'm doing here. I don't think most people are watching these videos. Thank you that we're watching, I guess. So you can still hide in the public eye. But I feel like also the internet in general, everyone just gets, quick small snippets. So it's harder in that sense to hide if you put yourself out on the internet. But then the conversations you tend to have are more shallow and not as face-to-face, real in that human interaction. Speaking of which, The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brain by Nicolas Cage, I think is a really cool book to read, just about that whole kind of idea. I don't actually have the physical book, but maybe I'll post a picture. So another quick story about not really realizing what's going on spatially. Again, when I was smaller, I went to go get a haircut. And after the barber was done, he asked me what I thought about it. And not to be rude, I said, oh, it's okay. Though I think I was a little bit shocked at how short it was. So I went outside while he and my mom, finished the payment up or whatever. For some reason, my brain didn't register that the window into the shop was a window, because I just saw my reflection and thought, mirror, you know, no one can see me on the other side of this. So I just looked into the window, thinking of it as a mirror, and just started crying and like bawling because of my hair, because I was outside now, there's no one else around me, and I couldn't see the barber or my mom. I didn't have to worry about their feelings anymore. Well, my mom told me inside that the barber turned to her and said, I guess she didn't like it, huh? But again, there's kind of just that freedom in that kind of just innocence that I know people can see me at this point. I'm not that young anymore, but when it's in that big group setting, no one's gonna usually come up and say anything, so I have a freedom of just letting go. I can just focus on my own feelings. I'm still not an island when I'm out by myself. I can influence other people and other people can influence me, and when I can, to bring positive things into that public space. Just noticing the person across from me and just giving a smile. Small little things can go a big way also. So I also kind of brought up that hair story because it's October. October actually seems to be a month of awareness for a lot of things. And one of those things that were listed was Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which just got me thinking of all the people in my life that I know who had cancer or have cancer. Some of them I know are still fighting it, some of them are survivors of it, and others I know have died from it. Yeah, there are a lot of people that just have been passing and a lot of hard stuff. Just taking the time to think about them. And you can think too. I mean, I'm sure there are people that you know who are struggling with things. You just take a moment right now to think of that one person. Whether it's, you know, just struggling with some kind of physical illness or losing someone through death, just bringing them to the forefront of our minds for just a moment. Thanks for doing that with me. I'm still not sure what these videos are, but I'm glad you're here for it. I'm in Anastasia. It's been nice to see you. Memory eternal to all your loved ones out there who have gone before us, and peace and comfort to all of us that are still, you know, walking this walk. And it's also 8-month October in Latin because they didn't have July or August, but now it's our 10th month on the current calendar. Yeah! Maybe not. Fill in space. I'm gonna use these to chop up things and edit. Hopefully this video is not too long. Great!